Good afternoon. It's February 7th, walking at a somewhat unusual time of the night, just before sunset. It's about 10 minutes to sunset. I am actually going out to eat, is what I'm doing, but I thought I would stretch this out by taking a bit of a walk along the creek, because I normally would do that on a Monday, but I haven't. And then I'll walk back along 13th to get to where I'm headed for dinner. Oh, my microphone is doing weird things here. Let's make sure it's not getting too jammed up with cloth and stuff. Hopefully the sound's all right. So yeah, sunset is at 6:02 p.m. So it should be setting just about the time we get over to the creek here. Be my guess. I'm carrying an iPad in one hand because that's so I have something to read when I get to the restaurant. My intention is to eat at Fireside Bistro, but I don't have a reservation, so I suppose it's possible I won't. You can tell it's not a very busy street. Hello. We'll follow the creek like I normally would if I was doing my usual creek walk, but we'll cut it off at Elphinstone and then walk up to 13th and back down 13th. By then it'll start to be getting a little darker, and it's always more interesting along there with the lights. Airplane up there. I've been doing publishing stuff today. I also had a podcast interview with James S. Peet. Quite an interesting author, and so I had that chat with him. Quite a ways away from going live. I have several in hand and several more lined up, so I'm actually booked solid now through into July, actually. So I'm not going to schedule anybody else here for a while. One big name coming up too. I'm next week, in fact. Although the podcast won't go live until April when his book comes out, I'll be interviewing Brent Weeks, who's a best-selling fantasy author. I met him once. You may not remember it, but met him twice, actually. Talked to him quite a bit down in San Diego at World Fantasy. Outside, what's the name of the big science fiction fantasy bookstore there? Hope it's still there. Anyway. It's been a while. It seems like everything's been a while. Since what for a while seemed like normal when it came to the writing and going to the conventions and stuff. And now it's like World Science Fiction Conventions in China. I wouldn't go there if you paid me. To that one. Well, I might if you paid me, but not on my own dime. World Fantasy was in New Orleans, which would have been cool, but didn't make it. I don't know where it is next year. I do plan to be at the North American Science Fiction Convention in Winnipeg this summer, if all works out. It's going to be on my birthday, actually. When Worlds Collide will happen for the last time in August. It's always been a wonderful event, but the people running it are deciding to let it go, so still, I was guest of honor last year, and they're bringing a bunch of us in for this last hurrah, especially those of us who were only virtual. We finally get to go in person this summer. Shaping up to be a busy few months. May is Sask Expo. And then later in May, I'm going to Halifax with my wife. She's going for an Engineers Canada meeting, and I'm just tagging along. And then right after that, our daughter graduates from the University of Toronto. Just found out today, June 2nd is her convocation, so we'll have to be there for that. So yeah, a busy, this will take us directly into the sunset here. Busy couple of months there. So normally, I walk in the morning, the sun's rising behind me. This afternoon, I mean, it is now setting in front of me. It should be down in about 5 minutes, so we won't see the sun, I don't think, especially with the cloud, but you can see it in the sky. Now, do I walk down this side of the creek, or do I walk down the other side? I might walk down this side just for simplicity's sake. Besides, we might see some kids tobogganing if I do that. Temperature's right around freezing. We're supposed to have some really mild days the next few days still before it cools off again, so we'll get some melting. We already have had some melting on the roads. Where there's a snowpack, the snow refrigerates itself, so it doesn't melt very fast. But as soon as you get some bare ground, it melts much faster. Hello. Rudy, is it? Rudy. Yes, it's very nice. Very pleasant, by our standards anyway. Not much wind either, which is always nice. And high down there in Mexico. There's the footbridge. So do I go over it or do I stay on this side today? I think I'll stay on this side. There'll be more people on the path over there. It's Cornwall Street. Footbridge. A lonely glove sitting on that picnic table for some reason. About 4 minutes left till the sun is officially down. This is the tobogganing bowl over here, coming up. Someone walking a... Is there more than one dog there? Or is it just one big dog? One big dog. Is anyone tobogganing? I hear voices. A bunch of dogs over there too. There's the... It's not really a tobogganing hill, it's a tobogganing bowl would be a better description. Deep enough to be fun. The nice thing about being a bowl is that when you get down there, you scrub off the speed real quick as you start to go up the slope on the other side, so you don't just go zipping off into oblivion or a tree somewhere. I don't know why. We live pretty close, but Alice never went tobogganing all that much. We were there a few times, but in retrospect, I wonder why we weren't there a lot more. You can see that it's been melting because there's water has come through the culvert there onto the ice. tomorrow I'll be walking downtown again. I have to meet somebody at Brood Awakening at 11, so I will go to Brood Awakening and work there until he shows up. And I also have to pick up some pills, and so I'll work down there tomorrow mostly. I write more if I'm out of the house. I'm trying to reestablish, or establish, because I've never established it, a pattern where I write in the morning and reserve all publishing activities to the afternoon. I've got to do that because I'm not writing, and I hate that when I'm not writing, and I've got things to write. So that's the plan. Tomorrow, at least, I'll be writing in the morning for sure. Thursday, I do also have a problem with one of our cars I've got to try to get sorted out. That may take up Thursday. Although if I do that, I'd probably be taking that long walk from South Albert, which is always interesting. Problem with the car is it's currently in underground parking, and I'm not at all sure I can start it. It may mean getting CAA to come and get it out of the basement parking lot, which must be possible because there's a lot of underground parking. But I'm not sure how they do it, but I think I'm going to have to ask them to do it. I don't think I can trust the car to keep running all the way down to the shop. Hello. The car has been giving us fits. It has a brand new battery, but maybe it's the alternator this time. But it started, had to be boosted because it's been sitting for a while. Started fine, and basically dies whenever there's the slightest extra electrical draw, which makes me think it's running on the battery and the alternator's not doing anything. So I don't know if I can get it out of the basement, and I almost don't want to try because if it's stalled on the ramp, that would be bad. So I guess I'll boost it and see if it keeps idling and decide if I want to take the risk or not. Third dog. Even more dogs in the evening than you see in the morning. Sun is definitely down now. Color is still in the sky. We do have long, lingering day sunrises and sunsets up here. Not like in the tropics where the sun comes up like thunder, as they say. More dogs up here. And we will turn right and go up, actually, just to be different, why do we go down here? Oh crap. Low battery warning, I forgot to plug this in. It's not terribly cold, but it may not last for the whole walk. But I'll see. Let me see if I can dim the screen. That'll help. Won't help me see what's being said, but it will help save the battery. As it gets darker, that'll be plenty bright enough anyway. Not sure which street I'm on. It could be Athol. I think it's Athol. Might be Athol. Not Ethel, but Athol. Let's get on the sidewalk. If nothing else, it's wider. Looks cleaner. I do still want to go on over to the left, though, and end up on Elphinstone. This is College Avenue, which does indeed, if you keep following it, lead you past the original Regina College, now the college building of the University of Regina. This corner has had these barriers here forever. Don't know why. What they're supposed to be marking at this point. Maybe they were just removed, but no truck has ever come to pick them up. I don't know. This one, for example, what exactly is that in aid of? Now we're on Elphinstone. We'll take this all the way up to 13th, and we'll turn right. And we'll be turning the corner, and then we'll be heading in the direction of the restaurant I'm planning to go to, which is Fireside Bistro. I don't have a reservation. If I can't get in, I'll go somewhere else, but that'll be the end of the walk either way because my battery's running down. Twilight gathering. I walk faster when the snow finally melts. I have a much smoother sidewalk to tread. Very rough with the piled snow on it. And even though people generally, my own sidewalk was really good about clearing it, but it doesn't take, you miss a snow or two, just a little one, and before you get out it's all packed down and then you can't scrape it off easily. That's what most of this is. The sidewalks have been clear, but not to the ground after every little bit of snow, and as a result, it piles up and freezes and becomes rough and icy. Nobody coming, we'll carry on. Yes, I know, visual evidence of me jaywalking. Sometimes people just haven't cleared very much at all. Those are the worst bits. Sometimes the bits that are cleared the most become the slipperiest because you end up with a smooth sheet of ice over them as opposed to the roughened snow. Getting darker all the time. Funny that, as the Earth continues to rotate and the sun drops further and further below the horizon, it gets darker. A well-known phenomenon known as nightfall. Hopefully I don't fall and make it Edfall concurrent with nightfall. Over there is Connaught School. Used to be an old school, and then they tore it down, and now there's a brand new one there. Community school. People were upset about them tearing down the old school because of the heritage value, but it was in bad shape. And of course, I always try to remind myself, the kids would rather have a new school. The attachment to the old school is nostalgia. And it's cool that all that history, like in Davin School, where my daughter went, which was built coming up on 100 years ago. There's a lot of history there, and that one's in good shape, so I don't think it's coming down anytime soon. But this one was a few years older and not in as good a shape, so we built the new one. I've never been in there. I was in the old one once or twice, but I've never been in the new one. Haven't done a reading in an elementary school for a long time. I've done a few, but most of my writing is a bit older than that. Okay, here's 13th. Here's the Connaught Library. Looking warm and inviting this time of night with windows all lit up. That's a boring new building over there, where there used to be a boring old building. This is a coffee shop over here called the Happy High. My daughter likes it. They know her there. There you go. Connaught School. I'm hitting this just right for some nice lighting. Most libraries don't have flashing red open signs, but that one does. Over here is the Slate Gallery. It was a CrossFit gym for a while. This used to be one of our favorite restaurants, but now it's just a chicken takeout place. And it looks closed, actually. Looks very closed. It's called the Creek and Cathedral Bistro, and we went there for many a special occasion, but I think it may have been gone even before the pandemic, or either that or the pandemic did it in. I'm not sure which. Building. Even the apartment buildings look more interesting as you start to get the lighting effects. Greystone Manor. Oddly enough, I think that was the name of the place my parents lived in, Weyburn. Doubt there's any connection though. Greystone is a familiar term. The choir at the University of Saskatchewan is the Greystone Singers. At least it used to be. I assume it still is. And the University of Saskatchewan is largely built from grey stone. Tyndallstone, which is a form of limestone, quarried in Tyndall, Manitoba, at least that's where it gets its name from, is kind of a very common building material. It's what the whole legislative building is built out of. You can see fossils in it everywhere when you look, because it's old ocean bed is what it is. This building used to be a nunnery, now it's condos. I've been in there in an apartment there a long time ago, and they did, and I presume they still do. They had a nice chapel in there. Probably not sanctified anymore, but the space is there, and nice little place to sing. Groovy Mama over here is an old house, now a clothing store. And again, everything looks nicer as you start to get the light coming on. I once dated a girl who lived in that apartment, literally once. Don't remember what we went to. I remember picking her up. Over here are three old houses that have a lot of character. The one on the corner is the 13th Avenue Coffee House. And one of them might still be a house. I'm not sure. Anyway, they're kind of distinctive to this stretch of the 13th. Nice and colorful and well kept up. This, of course, is the cathedral over here. Holy Rosary Cathedral. They got rid of. They had an ugly temporary sign in front of the building for a long time. I'm glad they got rid of that. It really detracted from the architecture. Like, I think that's still a house in the middle there. Maybe that one too. There you go. There's the cathedral. Look up. Look way up. Down to 10% battery, I see. Better keep moving. It might get me all the way to the restaurant, might not. That one, of course, is a store, all lit up. People don't usually light up their houses quite like that. Penny University bookstore is over here. Nice local bookstore. Hello. Yep, it's Regina, all right. My camera is turned down quite dim, so I have a hard time reading any comments at the moment. Not that there have been any, except for that one, and it's just hashtag Regina. This is Westminster United, a lovely auditorium for music. My friend Rob Urson had his 60th birthday recital there, singing his own music. He's a fantabulous composer as well as a director. And who knows, I might do a 65th recital. I've thought about it. I figure we could call it a senior moment with Ed Willett. Trouble is, I'm going to be in Winnipeg for my actual birthday, but sometime in July that would no. Sorry, that was this year. I only turned 64 this year. Got to wait another year to do my recital. Brandy's here is a convenience store. There's also a post office in there that I do a lot of mailing from, including some of the stuff that I've mailed out for the Kickstarter. That was annoying. That was a spam call. I don't know what it does to the feed when those come in. They come from all over the world. I have no idea what that's about or what they're trying to accomplish with those calls, but just ignore them. There's Safeway over here where we buy most of our groceries. The Mercury Cafe is a funky little old-style diner. Cathedral Pet Shop. Too focused on dogs. We don't buy anything for our cat there. Well, the battery lasts me even as far as Albert. This time it's not because it's cold, it's because I forgot to charge it up after using it during the day. Because I don't usually walk this time of night. When I walk first thing in the morning, it's usually charged up from overnight. Not a problem, but I forgot. I thought about it, and I didn't do it. Liquor store over there. Even the car lights look more interesting because they reflect off the wet pavement. And there are puddles to avoid. insurance place here. Big puddle here. That's a pretty new liquor store. We didn't used to have one down here. We use it once in a while if we need something in a hurry. Getting a little slippery now as it starts to freeze. This is a funky little coffee shop restaurant here on the corner. It's an ice cream place in the summertime. Some baby is not happy. There you go. I don't know if it's open this time of night or not. Doesn't look like it really. Purple lights though. Burns Hansley here is a Christian bookstore. And then the New Age bookstores across the street, which I always find funny. Cup of Tea is a tea shop. Then you have the Paper Umbrella, which is a stationery store. Traditional craft gallery there. And the shoe store next to it. Been there forever, that shoe store. That used to be a gallery, now it's a, I don't know what it is, I forget. So we're coming up to Albert now. This is the Artesian, which is a former church that's now a performing arts space. Performed in there a few times and been to things there. Had a book launch in the basement. Has a nice little lounge down there with a bar. It makes a great space for a not too big book launch. Except, as far as I know, they're still requiring masks and vaccination, and I refuse to put people who are coming to a book launch through that. I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point. We know that the vaccines don't prevent transmission, and we know that masks have no appreciable impact. The most recent study just came out to that effect. Highest quality, gold standard survey of randomized clinical trials. Masks have never been effective. They're more not a panacea, but a placebo. Make people feel better, I guess, and maybe that got some people out that otherwise would never have gone out. And you still see people wearing them, but there's really no scientific rationale for it. Strip mall here. That was my little rant. You're welcome. Karaoke place over there. That's not where I'm going to eat, although I could. Indian Bistro, not going there either. Chamber of Commerce. The Lot Club. I've never seen lights on in there. I don't know if it's still in operation or not. Chiropractic Clinic. Over here is the Nouveau Gallery. I've bought quite a bit of art in there. I've certainly gone and seen a lot of art in there. Bought some. Cat Cafe. The cats will all be back in the back room this time of night. First Presbyterian Church, where we got married 25 years ago and a bit. Came out this door, got in the limo right here, went off for our reception. really just a couple of blocks now from where I'm hoping to eat. Looks like we'll be crossing at the next one will make more sense than crossing at this one. But I do have to cross at the next one because I'm practically on top of the restaurant once I get there. All these cars parked up here are probably dropping off kids for dance classes at Class X Studios, which is where my daughter danced and worked. I'd be willing to bet. This print shop has been here forever. And this new restaurant is not open yet, or I'd try there. Application for liquor permit, so they're getting close. The older apartment buildings over there also looks nice when the lights start to come on. There's Alice's old dance studio. Don't know if you saw me or not, probably not. Eduardo, he and Monica run the studio, and I've known them since they came to Regina. The teacher, Alice was about 2 or 3 that time, and we switched her over to Class Act shortly after that from the conservatory. But Monica was a prima ballerina in Brazil, and Eduardo was also a very, very high-level professional dancer. And they arrived here and started working for Class Act. They didn't own it then. And I kind of knew them from the very beginning because there was a ballet called Le Femelle Gardée, which traditionally means the badly guarded daughter. And traditionally the mother of the badly guarded daughter is played by a man. And that was my role. I played the mother. There's a picture of me on my website somewhere. I show it quite often to people who think they know me. I make a striking woman. It's very statuesque, I think, is the word you would want. Anyway, that's how long I've known Eduardo and Monica. Now they own the studio. Alice went on and danced there for 15 years, and she worked there. So they must have been. But we're getting very close to the restaurant, just one more block. And that will conclude today's walk when I get there. I should say in Le Femelle Gardée, I did not per se dance. My function was to be big and strong and pick up Monica and paddle her and carry her and put her here and there and be comic relief, which I think I achieved. There is a clog dance, but they didn't even bother trying to teach it to me. I just kind of stumbled my way around, which was fine for what it was. I can't dance. Don't ask me. I can't dance. Don't ask me. I do see one more comment. I'm amazed my battery has lasted. I'm definitely in the last few moments of it, I think. But I will be stopping right up here at the corner. Can I read the comment? That's the question. I can't make it out. Sorry. But thank you for whatever you said. At least I hope it's worth thanking and not how dare you say that. I've got the screen turned down really dim to save the battery. If I get a chance, I can maybe brighten it up here long enough to read that before I sign off. There's the Fireside Bistro, where I'm headed, hopefully. A good tour guide. Well, I do my best. I know the neighborhood pretty well after all these years. Okay, that's it for today. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. So